in the glittering heart of Chicago, where Christmas lights cast a magical glow over towering skyscrapers, a single accusation threatens to shatter a young man's world. Lucas Bennett, a humble janitor, stands accused of a crime he didn't commit, his life hanging in the balance as the wealthy elite close ranks against him. But what if the truth he uncovers is more shocking than the lie that condemned him? What if a secret buried for decades could rewrite not just his future, but the very fabric of a family's legacy? This is a story of betrayal, redemption, and the unbreakable power of love to bridge divides. Will Lucas find the courage to face his past and reclaim his place? Join us on this emotional journey, where every twist reveals a deeper truth and every moment pulses with hope. Stay with us from the first spark to the final glow. You won't want to miss a single heartbeat of this unforgettable tale. In the bustling heart of Chicago, where skyscrapers gleamed under the festive glow of Christmas lights and the streets thrummed with holiday cheer, Lucas Bennett rose each morning before dawn. The city's winter chill seeped through the cracks of his modest apartment, but the quiet hum of life stirring outside was his signal to begin another day. At 27, Lucas balanced a fragile existence, working long hours as a janitor at the opulent Sterling Hotel while caring for his ailing father, Samuel, whose heart condition drained their meager savings. Each paycheck went to medical bills, rent, and the bare necessities, leaving no room for dreams or missteps. The Sterling Hotel, a beacon of luxury on Michigan Avenue, was a world apart from Lucas's reality. Its crystal chandeliers cast rainbows across polished marble floors, and its guests, draped in furs and designer suits, moved with an ease Lucas could only observe from the sidelines. As a janitor, his role was to remain invisible, mopping floors, cleaning suites, and fading into the background. Yet, within those gleaming walls, he caught glimpses of lives so different from his own, a reminder of the chasm between wealth and struggle. Amira Sterling, the hotel's formidable owner, ruled her domain with an iron grip. At 45, she was a vision of elegance, her tailored dresses and sharp heels announcing her presence before she spoke. Her dark eyes scanned every detail, missing nothing, and her commands, delivered with icy precision, kept the staff in line. Lucas felt her gaze like a weight, though she rarely addressed him directly. Her husband, Elias Sterling, was different. 10 years her junior, Elias carried a quiet warmth that contrasted with Amira's frost. His fleeting nods to Lucas held a trace of kindness, and sometimes their eyes would meet across a crowded lobby, Elias's expression lingering, as if searching for something familiar. Lucas wondered why Elias seemed to regard him differently, a curiosity he buried beneath the demands of his work. As Christmas approached, the hotel transformed into a winter palace. Garlands draped the grand staircase, and a towering tree sparkled in the lobby, its ornaments glinting like stars. But beneath the festive facade, tension simmered. On a frigid December morning, as Lucas polished the brass fixtures, whispers rippled through the staff. Amira had discovered a missing item, a sapphire bracelet, a family heirloom she cherished. Its absence was no small matter. The bracelet was worth more than Lucas could earn in a decade. Overhearing the gossip in the break room, Lucas's stomach tightened. "She's furious," a concierge muttered. "Someone's going to pay." By midday, the air in the hotel grew heavy with dread. Lucas was cleaning a guest suite when Amira's voice sliced through the silence, sharp and accusing. "Lucas!" she barked, storming into the room, her face a mask of fury. The staff scattered, their eyes averted. "Where were you this morning?" Lucas froze, his mop still in hand, his heart pounding like a drum. I was cleaning the ballroom," he stammered, his voice barely steady. "I haven't touched anything, Mrs. Sterling. I swear." Amira's eyes narrowed, her lips curling into a sneer. "We'll see about that," she hissed, turning on her heel and leaving a chill in her wake. As the day wore on, the weight of Amira's suspicion pressed down on Lucas. He tried to focus on his tasks, but her accusation echoed in his mind, a dark cloud he couldn't shake. By late afternoon, the storm broke. In the staff room, as Lucas sorted cleaning supplies, Amira burst in, Elias trailing behind her, his face etched with unease. A small crowd of employees lingered, their whispers falling silent. "This man," Amira declared, pointing a manicured finger at Lucas, "has betrayed our trust. My sapphire bracelet is gone, and he was seen near my office this morning. He's a thief." The words struck Lucas like a blow, his knees buckling under the weight of her claim. "I didn't do it," he protested, his voice trembling with desperation. I wasn't anywhere near your office. I've never stolen anything in my life. Amira's eyes blazed, unyielding. Don't lie to me, she snapped. You've always been too comfortable here, thinking you belong. This is what happens when you forget your place. Lucas's chest tightened, panic rising like a tide. Losing this job would mean losing everything: his father's care, their apartment, the fragile balance of their lives. Elias stepped forward, his voice soft but firm. Amira, perhaps we should investigate further. There's no proof. Amira cut him off, her glare icy. No, Elias. I won't have a thief under my roof. He's fired, effective immediately. Lucas's world tilted, his hands trembling as he clutched the edge of a table. Please, he pleaded, turning to Elias, his eyes searching for an ally. Mr. Sterling, you have to believe me. I didn't do this. Elias met his gaze, a flicker of doubt crossing his face, but he looked away, rubbing his temple as if wishing the moment would vanish. It's for the best, Lucas, he said quietly, his voice heavy with resignation. Go. The finality of Elias's words crushed Lucas. Fired, just like that, with no evidence, no chance to defend himself. His vision blurred with unshed tears as he stumbled toward the locker room to gather his things. Amira's voice followed, cold and triumphant. You're lucky I'm not pressing charges, she called, her words a knife in his back. Lucas packed his worn jacket and a few personal items into a tattered bag, his mind racing. How would he tell his father? Samuel's health was worsening. This loss could break him. As he zipped the bag, a memory stirred, a story his father had once shared, a secret buried in the past that might hold the key to everything. With a resolve born of desperation, Lucas turned back. Instead of leaving through the staff exit, he marched toward Elias's private office, his footsteps echoing in the marble halls. The hotel, once a place of routine, now felt hostile, its grandeur mocking his plight. He didn't knock, simply pushed open the door and stepped inside. Elias sat at his desk, staring at a stack of papers, his face lined with tension. He looked up, startled. Lucas? I thought you'd left. Lucas's throat was dry, but he forced the words out, his voice trembling yet firm. Mr. Sterling, I didn't steal that bracelet. I swear on my father's life. But there's something else you need to know. Something I never wanted to say until now. Elias leaned back, his expression unreadable. Go on. Lucas swallowed hard, his heart pounding like a trapped bird. My father, Samuel, he told me years ago about a woman he loved before I was born. A woman who left him before he knew she was pregnant. He never wanted me to find her, said it was better to let the past stay buried. But he told me her name. Elias's eyes narrowed, a shadow crossing his face. Her name? Lucas's voice dropped to a whisper, each word heavy with truth. Amira. Amira Sterling. The room fell silent, the air thick with the weight of the revelation. Elias stared at Lucas, his face paling, his hands gripping the arms of his chair. For a long moment, he said nothing, and Lucas feared he'd misjudged everything. Then Elias spoke, his voice barely audible. Amira. The way he said her name, soft and laden with memory, told Lucas all he needed to know. Elias remembered. Lucas reached into his bag, his hands shaking, and pulled out a faded photograph his father had kept of young Amira, smiling beside Samuel, their faces alight with love. He placed it on the desk, watching as Elias's eyes widened, his fingers trembling as he touched the image. I loved her, Elias murmured, almost to himself. We were so young. Her family forced us apart. I never knew she was pregnant. His voice cracked, and he looked up at Lucas, his eyes glistening with unshed tears. You're my son? The words hung between them, heavy with years of lost time. Lucas felt a lump in his throat, his own emotions swirling relief, fear, hope. I didn't know until recently, he said quietly. My father only told me when his health started failing. I didn't want to disrupt your life, but after today, I had to tell you. Elias stood, his movements slow, as if the truth had anchored him to the earth. He crossed the room and placed a hand on Lucas's shoulder, his touch tentative but warm. I'm sorry, he said, his voice thick with regret. I should have known. I should have been there. Before Lucas could respond, the door swung open and Amira stormed in, her face flushed with anger. What is he still doing here? She demanded, her eyes blazing as they landed on Lucas. I told you to get him out. Elias turned, his expression hardening. Amira, we need to talk. Now. The air crackled with tension as Amira's gaze darted between them, sensing the shift. "What's going on?" she snapped, her voice sharp as ice. Elias took a deep breath, his eyes never leaving hers. "Lucas isn't just a janitor. He's my son." The silence that followed was deafening. Amira's face contorted in disbelief, her hands clenching into fists. "What?" she whispered, her voice trembling with shock. Elias stepped closer, his tone steady but heavy. "Samuel Bennett was your first love, Amira. You never told me you were pregnant. Lucas is our son." Amira staggered back, her hand gripping the edge of a chair for support. "That's impossible," she hissed, but her eyes betrayed her, flickering with memories she'd buried long ago. Lucas held up the photograph, his hands steady despite the storm in his heart. "This is you and my father," he said quietly. "He kept it all these years." Amira snatched the photo, her fingers trembling as she studied it. Her face softened for a moment, a fleeting glimpse of the girl she'd once been, but then her expression hardened. "This proves nothing," she spat, tossing the photo onto the desk. "You're lying, trying to worm your way into our lives." Lucas's heart sank, but he stood his ground. "I'm not lying. I don't want your money or your name. I just wanted the truth." Elias stepped between them, his voice firm. "Enough, Amira. I know it's true. I see it in his eyes, in the way he carries himself. He's my son, and I won't let you dismiss him." Amira's eyes blazed with fury, but for the first time, there was a crack in her armor, a flicker of fear. "You're choosing him over me?" she demanded, her voice trembling with rage. Elias shook his head, his expression heavy with sorrow. "I'm not choosing anyone. I'm doing what's right. You accused an innocent man, my son, to protect your pride. That's something I can't ignore." Amira's hands balled into fists, her face a mask of defiance. "You're making a mistake, Elias," she said, her voice low and venomous. "When this falls apart, don't expect me to stay." With that, she turned and stormed out, the door slamming behind her, leaving an echo that lingered in the silent office. Lucas stood frozen, his heart pounding, unsure whether he'd just won a battle or ignited a war. Elias let out a long, weary sigh, rubbing his temples. "I'm sorry you had to see that," he said quietly. "She's not handling this well." Lucas shook his head, his voice soft but steady. "It's not your fault. I didn't expect this to be easy." Elias looked at him, his eyes filled with a mixture of pride and regret. "I don't know what comes next," he admitted, "but I promise you, Lucas, I'm going to make this right. You're my son, and I want to be part of your life if you'll let me." The sincerity in Elias's voice caught Lucas off guard, a warmth spreading through his chest, despite the chaos. "I'd like that," he said, his voice trembling with emotion. "I just need time." As Christmas Eve dawned, the hotel buzzed with holiday preparations, but a quiet shift had begun. Amira retreated to her penthouse suite, her presence a shadow over the staff, while Elias made a bold move. He reinstated Lucas's job, publicly clearing his name and apologizing for the false accusation. Whispers spread through the hotel, but Lucas held his head high, his heart buoyed by the truth. That evening, Elias invited Lucas and Samuel to a private Christmas dinner at a cozy restaurant near the hotel, a neutral space where they could begin to forge a new bond. Samuel, frail but hopeful, met Elias with a wary smile. Their shared past a bridge between them. "I never stopped loving her," Samuel admitted, his voice soft as he looked at Elias. "But I'm glad Lucas has you now." Over the following weeks, Lucas and Elias grew closer, their conversations weaving a fragile but hopeful connection. Elias paid off Samuel's medical bills, lifting a weight that had crushed Lucas for years. Amira, meanwhile, struggled with the truth. One snowy afternoon, she sat with Lucas in the hotel's quiet garden atrium, the Christmas lights casting a soft glow. "I was wrong," she admitted, her voice barely above a whisper, her hands twisting in her lap. "I let my fear blind me. You're my son, and I don't know how to be your mother, but I want to try." Lucas's heart softened, seeing the vulnerability beneath her polished exterior. "We'll figure it out," he said, his voice steady, one step at a time. Inspired by his father's resilience, Lucas enrolled in community college, pursuing a degree in social work to help others like him. Elias and Amira, though their marriage faced strains, began to rebuild, their love tested but enduring. Together, they launched a scholarship program through the Sterling Hotel, offering opportunities to underprivileged youth. The hotel, once a symbol of exclusivity, became a beacon of hope, its Christmas lights shining brighter for the lives it touched. Years later, on a crisp Christmas night, Lucas stood in the hotel lobby, now a social worker, his father healthy and proud by his side. Elias and Amira, their bond strengthened by time, joined them. Their daughter Lucas's half-sister, Lila, giggling as she chased snowflakes outside. "Did you ever think we'd get here?" Elias asked, his eyes warm with gratitude. Lucas smiled, his heart full. "I knew the truth would light the way," he said. "But this is a gift I never expected." Their story, born in the glow of Christmas, became a testament to love's power to heal, to bridge divides, and to create a legacy of compassion. The Sterling Hotel stood as a monument to their journey, proof that even in the darkest shadows, truth and love can shine through. Lesson learned. This story teaches that truth, when embraced with courage and compassion, can mend broken bonds and overcome prejudice. It reminds us that love, whether between family or strangers, requires vulnerability, forgiveness, and the willingness to see beyond surface differences, creating a legacy of hope and unity that transforms lives.